Hello everyone, and welcome to week 4 of English 120. This week we'll be moving on to talk about an essay by Jack London called The Story of an Eyewitness, which captures his observations about the 1906 San Francisco earthquake. You're going to be participating in a discussion this week where you're going to look at different eyewitness accounts of this event in order to understand how different people can have different points of view about the same exact thing, and how it's important to really include all those different points of view when we're looking at a subject. You're going to be completing the research module, Cultivating Research for Information Needs. So you need to read through all of that and do the activities it suggests. And then you're going to take the quiz for Cultivating Research for Information Needs. Then we're going to begin working on our research project. The first assignment for your research project will be due, I pushed back the date by 1 week, so we'll begin it this week and you'll be turning it in next week. It's due next Sunday at 11:59 p.m. So this week, we're going to be talking about the 1906 San Francisco earthquake. At 5:12 a.m. on April 18th in 1906, San Francisco residents were awakened by a 40-second tremor that moved furniture, shattered glass, and toppled chimneys. After a 10-second interval, an even stronger tremor struck, lasting 25 seconds. And this photograph was taken by Jack London. Movement along the San Andreas Fault was to blame. The North American and Pacific tectonic plates had moved each past each other by more than 15 feet, compared to an annual average of 2 inches. The earthquake is estimated to have measured 8.3 on the Richter scale, which had not yet been invented. Survivors saw the ground move in waves as high as 3 feet. The earthquake ripped open streets, twisted streetcar rails, and split sidewalks. Fires broke out soon after the earthquake, caused primarily by overturned stoves or damaged electrical wiring. Because the city's water mains had suffered more than 300 ruptures, no water was available to combat the fires, which rapidly burned beyond control. In some places, temperatures reached 2,500 degrees Fahrenheit, melting glass, buckling steel and iron beams, and fusing dishes together. In a desperate attempt to contain the fire, firefighters began to dynamite buildings in its path. Unfortunately, this strategy sometimes spread the flames. And this photograph is of the one of the main refugee camps that was created in what is now the Presidio. Mayor Eugene A. Schmitz decreed that all looters would be shot. He also imposed a dawn-to-dusk curfew. Most San Franciscans obeyed the laws. Only 9 were shot for looting. Most waited until they were certain their homes would be burned. Then they would leave, carrying as many possessions as they could. By the evening of April 18th, 1,700 soldiers had arrived in San Francisco to assist both residents and the firefighters. Brigadier General Frederick Funston took over command of the city and declared martial law. After raging uncontrolled for 3 days, the fire finally burned itself out by the morning of April 21st. Destruction in its 4.7 square mile path was complete. More than 28,000 buildings had been destroyed, resulting in an estimated $500 million in damage, an amount equal to the federal budget of 1906. Although the official number of casualties was 311, it is now believed that approximately 3,000 people perished. About 250,000 people, 2/3 of the city's population, were left homeless. They were temporarily sheltered in tents placed in public parks. These were later replaced by one-room wooden structures. Among the earthquake survivors was operatic tenor Enrico Caruso. On the night of April 17th, he had performed the role of Jose in George Bizet's 1875 opera Carmen, and had been scheduled for another performance on April 18th. Caruso was so distraught by the earthquake and its aftermath that he vowed never to return to San Francisco again. Ansel Adams, age 4, survived the earthquake along with his family, though their house and many possessions were damaged. An aftershock tossed young Adams face first into a garden wall, giving him what his friend Cedric Wright would call an earthquake nose. Describing his broken nose, which was never repaired, Adams would later joke, "My beauty was marred forever." But he felt the horror of the quake, which he called his closest experience with profound human suffering. One of the few buildings that survived with little damage was the Old Mint. It was able to withstand the tremors due to its strong foundation, which was made of large blocks of solid granite. To save it from the flames, Mint employees used water from cisterns in the basement to keep the roof and outer walls wet. Although the fire's heat melted the building's windows, the Mint otherwise suffered little damage. Relief poured in from many states and foreign countries. Japan gave nearly $250,000, more than all other foreign countries combined. Reconstruction began in the summer. San Francisco filed $175 million in claims with insurance companies. It was due in large part to these settlements that San Franciscans were able to begin rebuilding their city in the summer. And if you'd like more information, visit this link here. We'll take you through a timeline of what happened throughout the days through the day of the earthquake and the days that happened afterwards. So we are going to be looking at the story of an eyewitness, which you need to read first in the Portable Jack London Reader. Remember, the story of an eyewitness is found on page 486 in the Portable Jack London Reader. You're going to read that first, actively, really interact with it and read it closely. And then you're going to choose 2 of the eyewitness accounts that are listed on this page. Please choose narratives that have not yet been posted. There are so many, so just make sure you choose a narrative that hasn't been used. Then you're going to answer the following questions in the discussion. Okay, choose one of these and then choose one of the other ones. Okay, so choose one of these. Why do you think Jack and Charmian London left Glen Ellen to go to San Francisco after the earthquake? What did they find there when they arrived? How did London feel the citizens of San Francisco behaved in the days after the earthquake? Why did he think they behaved in this way? Using your own experience, do you think this is typical post-disaster behavior? Why or why not? Why did London think that San Francisco looked like the end of the world? What striking image does he use throughout his essay to convey this information? Striking images. And then I'd like you to choose one of these questions to talk about the eyewitness account that you used. What commonalities did you find in the content of the narratives? So remember, you're looking at you're going to read 2 different eyewitness accounts. You get to choose which ones, just choose them. Choose the ones that have not already been posted by your peers, okay? So what commonalities did you find? Why might certain memories stand out more than others? What might cause a person to vividly remember the color of a lamp shattered by the quake when he or she would not ordinarily recall such a detail? How might you identify the mood of the narratives? Are they all necessarily dark? Could there be a sense of relief due to the simple fact of having survived? When recounting separate parts of the disaster, does the mood change within the individual narrative itself? If so, why might that be? Okay? So for this, remember, you post your own post by Thursday at 11:59 p.m. Make sure in your post, before you do your post, you're going to read the story of an eyewitness, and then you're going to go to this web page right here, and you're going to choose 2 of the eyewitness accounts. There are so many of them to choose from, okay? You're going to choose 2, and you're going to read those. Then you're going to answer one question in this list of 3 about Jack London's essay, The Story of an Eyewitness. And then you're going to choose one question from the group of 3 down here about the 2 narratives that you read on this web page. Remember, when you answer these questions, please use evidence from the text to support the claims that you're making. What we're doing is we're practicing how to use evidence to support anything we argue or state in a paper. So your research project is underway. This week, we are going to, I'm going to introduce the research topic form to you, and it will be due by the end of next week, okay? That's the first stage. All of these things we'll be completing as part of our research project. So for your research project topic form, you're going to need to choose a topic. And you're going to go back to the pre-writing you did last week where you were brainstorming about 3 different topics. I want you to go back and choose one of those 3 topics to focus on. Or you can choose a whole brand new one. Okay, it's up to you. Then you're going to go to the library and you're going to identify a key list of words. What could you search under related to your topic? So remember that the whole purpose of this is you're trying to find a debatable topic. So say your topic is the 1906 earthquake. You would want to put in for keywords 1906 earthquake, San Francisco, great disasters of early 1900s. Start looking, you just start brainstorming what could you search under in order to find sources that are talking about this topic. And then you want to identify sources that seem to address the topic. You're going to use the library databases and catalog. Remember, when you're starting off doing initial research on a topic like this, you're going to go to the library and use sources like World Book Encyclopedia in order to get background information. And remember, all of these articles have sources. They have authors and sources, and you can use those to find more information. When you start finding these basic descriptions, right, like the 1906 earthquake has an entry in the World Book Encyclopedia. So you read through it, you start to identify topics that they address. And maybe one of the topics was that people weren't warned in time for this disaster, right? Or one of the topics is that people weren't evacuated fast enough, right, to save them. What I want you to do is to start to see these in the conversations about this topic, what are people talking about? What are the key issues that keep coming up, and keep track of that. And start thinking so once you do the World Book Encyclopedia searches, then open it up to start using some of the other databases, right? Start looking up the 1906 earthquake in the EBSCO database. Look under just start trying out your topic in a bunch of different places and see what comes up. And remember, if you're stuck while you're doing this, stop by my office hours so I can help you. Then you want to skim these sources and see what topics they address. What are the conversations about this topic that you could join? And then decide which sources seem to be engaged in the same conversation. Which ones are talking about those topics in the same way? What are the 3 most important issues that you've identified so far? So going through those sources, what are the 3 things people are talking about the most? Of these issues, which one will best help you sustain your interest in the topic? Like, which one do you like? And which one will help you achieve your purpose as a writer? Which one can you write an argumentative research paper that's 8 to 10 pages long about? And then which one fits the requirements of your assignment? And then which one has the fewest limitations? So what you're going to do once you go through this project, this is your pre-work, then you're going to develop a MLA formatted document that's in Times New Roman 12-point font, and you're going to write your research topic, right, as the title. You're going to give us a description about your topic that's at least 2 paragraphs long. In that description, you're going to tell us, what is your topic? How is it debatable? Who are the main people talking about it? And why are you interested in this topic? You're going to identify sources, at least 6 sources that you've identified in your preliminary research. These can be like the World Book Encyclopedia. These cannot be sources like Wikipedia or History.com. You need to actually go to the library, either virtually or in person, and find these sources. I also want you to list key terms that you use for searching. What were the phrases and words that you use to search under in order to find your sources? This will be due next Sunday, so a week from this Sunday. So that gives you time over the next week and a half or 2 weeks to plan when you can go to the library or when you can spend time going to the library online. It also gives you time if you need help doing these searches, if you have questions, to stop by my office hours. All right, the last thing you're going to do this week is you're going to complete Module 4, which is Cultivating Research for Information Needs. I want you to click through the content, including doing the reading in the Bedford Researcher. This module teaches you about how to discover your topic, which is something we're working on right now, how to conduct preliminary research at the library, something you're going to be doing, and how to plan your research, how to plan, the timing of your research project. Make sure you read each section carefully, and make sure you take the quiz at the end. Remember, you only get 2 tries to take the quiz. So if you bomb it the first time, wait, go back, redo the information, and then take it again. All right, guys, that's it for this week. Thank you for watching the lecture. As always, if you have any questions, please stop by my office hours on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 11 to 12:30 and from 1:30 to 3. If those times don't work for you, you can send me an email and we can set up a phone call conference. Have a good week.